Hey guys, what's up? It's KO Ninja. And today, we're going to hold Webb accountable for his takes. Today, we're going to see whether Webb is cooking or not cooking. We need to see whether he was in the kitchen making a 5-course meal or whether we should kick his ass out of the kitchen. Today, we're going to be responding, kind of, to one of Webb's videos talking about when it is okay to rage quit. Now, just off the bat, I don't think it's ever really okay to rage quit, like, at all. But he did bring up some points, and I wanted to see if I could, like, either argue it or agree with it. Because most of the time, I feel like I agree with Webb on a lot of things, but sometimes we have disagreements, and this is just what this video is here for today. So, let's get into it.
If your opponent is spamming, yes, it's annoying, yes, sometimes it's difficult to get around, and yes, they could be playing the character so much more optimally, but you have to realize, the people who spam are either A, new to the game and don't know any better, or B, are just bad at the game.
Now, I think I can blaze through the first part, which is which ones you shouldn't rage quit to, like, really quickly, because they're basically just common sense. And one is spammy opponent. Now, I said I could blaze through this quickly, but this is a bit more nuanced, right? So, spamming is just the act of doing the same thing over and over and over again. Now, I believe that there are some points where you could argue about rage quitting against this, and shouldn't argue about rage quitting against this. Like, say, for example, you're fighting a spammy shoot style. Like, every time he gets close to you, he immediately whiff cancels, and every time he does something like this, he just whiff cancels immediately, he's spamming Q2 a bunch, he's spamming yellows and shit. This is predictable. This is easy to get around, because you can whiff punish him. I mean, I just said he can whiff cancel, so you probably can't whiff punish him, but you can still challenge him up close. There are times where you're fighting characters and matchups where you just cannot win. Say, for example, you're a new Fatgun player. You run into a Toga who is spamming needles and knives. You cannot get around it. Do I think you should rage quit? Maybe not, but would I get mad at you if you did? Absolutely not. Same thing for Inasa or Midnight. You're fighting a super spammy, annoying Midnight and Inasa, then I guess just go ahead and rage quit, because that's not that bad. Honestly, rage quitting on a Midnight is no, I don't think that's as bad as you think. Honestly, it's not really that bad.
A lot of times in My Hero 1's Justice 2, you will run into players that are just simply better than you. This is probably the type of rage quit I get the most when people rage quit on me. In My Hero 1's Justice 2, there can be a huge skill gap in terms of players.
If your opponent is like literally just better, like Homelander ass, like, I'm just better! I'm just better! Then, like, you probably shouldn't leave. Like, if you're running against, like, the best best player in the world, I don't think you should leave, because that match is going to end really fucking fast anyway. Fighting against a good player is more of a learning experience than it is anything, unless you don't see it in the way I see it, because I think fighting really good players and losing to them is a learning experience and not an ass whooping. But depending on whether you're a veteran fighting game player, I've been playing fighting games for almost 10 years, so I see losing to better players as a learning experience than it is a actual, hindrance on actually having fun. But yeah, honestly, this is a problem with the Oj2 rank system, because if you're a new player, you shouldn't be fighting those pros anyway. But since Oj2 ranked is fucking garbage, you're fighting those good players, which I think is a blessing and a curse. Blessing because if you're a streamer or a content creator, you get to fight a bunch of people. But curse if you can also meet some annoying ass niggas. But yeah, that's essentially how I see it.
Yes, lag is annoying, and can get to the point where a match is literally unplayable, but if it's only a tiny bit of lag, don't rage quit, it's manageable.
Oj2 netcode is great. Not unless you're fighting someone who literally just fucking shoved their router into the Mariana Trench, then there is no reason for you to leave because of lag. And we'll get into that, like, a little bit later, but still. Little bit of lag, like 1-2 frames of delay, not that bad. You should come play fighters where our natural delay is like 4 or 5 frames. But, yeah, that's basically just how I see it. You shouldn't leave because of a small amount of lag. Hell, even there's a moderate amount of lag where you can feel it. I feel like Oj2 is simple enough with its combos that you won't be dropping shit unless you're playing someone like Gentle or like, I don't know, maybe Shoot Style. Maybe Shoot Style will drop his combos if there's enough lag. But yeah, OJ2 is simple enough with combo system where you can hit your combos in a decent amount of lag. To be fair, movement would be hindered, and defense would be hindered, but still.
When your opponent is being toxic, there are times in My Hero 1's Justice 2 where your opponent, being the complete loser that they are, will wall splat or floor splat you and start troll spinning or guard spamming or this. Yeah, I don't really have a name for this one, but it's toxic nonetheless. It is so annoying when people do this to you because there is no reason to do it other than being a clown. If somebody does this to you, feel free to rage quit on them. The reason this can be a grey area though is because there are some players who will do this, but mean it in a friendly way.
Now, this is also nuanced, because you have to take this by a case-by-case basis, because your toxicity is not the same for another guy's toxicity. Some guy troll spinning you, he might not think it's a bad thing, but you might think he just insulted your mother and slapped your sister. So I think it's a case-by-case basis. Really just take it with a grain of salt. If you're fighting, alright, let's see. Let me just say this. If they're toxic on a top tier, they're genuinely being toxic. But if they're toxic on like a mid-low tier, I don't think they're actually being toxic because their character fucking sucks ass. Hell, I troll spin on Nomu every once in a while. But, yeah, it's really a case-by-case basis. If you know the person that you're fighting, then just, yeah, you can troll spin them. A lot of the times, here's a little common thing. If you know someone you're fighting, then just go ahead and troll spin them. It's a little bit of fun camaraderie. You see it happen if you're fighting someone you actually know. It's just a little fun thing, but it's a case by case basis. If they're messaging you, then block them, and then whenever you see them, just duck them. But other than that, just go ahead and take it by case basis.
Now, there are times when you kind of need to PU2 when you're at low health. For example, let's say you're doing a combo that should kill your opponent, but then their assist comes back. You need to plus Ultra 2 because they could easily break your combo with the assist. The point where it starts to get annoying is when they do the plus Ultra 2 when a regular combo could have easily killed. For me, I would only rage quit if somebody did this when it was completely unnecessary.
Well, I'ma have to roast your ass. I'm sorry. Low health PU2s. Now, this is the only one on Web's thing that I flat out just disagree with. I think it is the dumbest fucking shit if you rage quit on a PU2. I'm gonna be completely honest, it is the dumbest shit. Right? Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but I PU2 on random people when I don't even need to. Sometimes it's just to see this cutscene, sometimes it's to make sure you're extra dead, other times it's not even to be toxic, I just want to see the cutscene. I think rage quitting on a PU2 is dumb. I just think it's dumb. I don't even think I need to explain why it is dumb. Right? Like, I get it, oh, but May's PU2 is so long, and Deborah's PU2 is so long, nigga, deal with it! God! It is a super cutscene. They are meant to be flashy. They are meant to be long. There is no point in rage quitting on a PU2. Like, say for example, you did a PU2, and then they rage quit. Like, how you gonna feel? Like, you want to see that cutscene? You wanted to make them rage quit? I don't know. But I feel like the notion of rage quitting to someone who PU2'd you at, like, 1% health, or, like, did roll jab PU2, when you're, like, at super low health, I don't think that is a crime. I don't think that is a sin. I don't think that is a good take on Web's end. I don't think it is a very good thing to tell someone to rage quit on someone who PU2s. Now, I can see the argument, I just don't agree with it. I think it is a very dumb mentality to have when you see someone PU2 at like 1 HP. Like, honestly, like, just let it happen. It's not that bad. You'll live. It is like 10 seconds of your life you'll never get back, but who gives a shit, right?
Now, I'll be honest with you guys, luckily there are only like 7 players in the entire game who can do this, and only like 2 of them would ever use this in a toxic way. If they're camping just guards, they're most likely doing the other stuff as well that I mentioned in the first reason you can rage quit, so honestly, just go ahead and rage quit on them.
I'm gonna say this right now, and this may make me sound like an elitist, but if you are predictable enough to get everything you have done just guard, you suck. You just suck. I'm sorry, there are very few players in this entire community who still actively play who can just guard basically everything you do. Really good players. I will say this right now. There are really good players. Some of the best players I've ever seen in my life can't do this. They cannot just guard everything you do. They'll might like flash just guard and like just guard projectiles, but like that's kind of how the thing works. You gotta just guard their projectiles back. That's third strike, bro. Like, you cannot blame your opponent for just outplaying you. I think this just guard spamming fits into the opponent's just better. Like, I get it. Just guards have a pretty decent window of how far they can do it, right? But you can bait just guards. You can. It may be a bit hard, but you can bait just guards. You can do multi-hit moves, like shoot style Q2. Like, you can do so much shit to stop your opponent from just constantly just guarding you. If you get constantly just guarded, you just suck. I'm sorry I had to be the one to say this. I'm sorry that I had to be the one to break it to you. But there is no reason, there is absolutely no reason for you to rage quit on someone who is just genuinely outplaying you. Like, seriously. Like, there's no just guard hack. There is no just guard cheat. Like, we're not hacking or cheating. Like, if you're getting constantly just guarded, then that's kind of your fault. That really just is. Sometimes your opponent is just better. Like, there was one time where I think it might have been justified. There was one player who might have justified it. Like, and it was like months ago last time I saw him, bro. Like, it is, I don't think you should rage quit from just guard spam, because most of the time, if you're seeing your opponent do this, and you don't, and your immediate thought isn't to just red them in the face, or like call an assist and then attack them after, like, I'm sorry, but that's just kind of a skill issue. I think it's just kind of a skill issue. Like, low health PU2s and just guard spammers, it's literally just mostly a skill issue on your end. There is rarely ever a chance where you are allowed to rage, like, you could obligate, like, a fair rage quit on something like that, right? Like, I think that's kind of dumb. I think it's personally dumb. Now, tell me what you guys think in the comments. Tell me if you think I'm wrong, because I'd very much like to see someone argue why that isn't, why that is a reason to rage quit.
Now, I know I said earlier, if there's a little bit of lag, just bear with it. But when I say laggy players, I mean laggy players. To the point where you physically cannot play the game, constant stutters, delay up the wazoo, and disconnection messages popping up every 2 seconds. This is not the way to play a fighting game. And I understand that some people just don't have good internet, as others. But at the same time, if your internet is that bad, it's probably affecting you too in the match, so maybe stick to the offline modes.
Like, if you fought some dude who put their router in the Mariana Trench, I told you that would come back. But if you fight some dude who put their router in the Mariana Trench and you're playing in, like, stutters and, like, 10-frame delay, just leave. It is not fun for either of you. Not unless this nigga was a Smash player and he was born in the lag, raised by it, was nurtured by it, like he's some, like, netcode level Bane or something like that. He is not. There's no reason. Like, there's rarely ever a time where Oj2 gets to that point, but if it ever does, just fucking leave. Like, I remember one time, I was fighting someone. I think it was Spark. I think it was. And, I was downloading Doom Eternal. I wanted to replay Doom Eternal, and I forgot that I was. And I went on Oj2 Online. And the lag was unbearable. So I left. I didn't know I was downloading Doom Eternal. I forgot, and I just did the courteous thing of leaving. Like, if you think you're a laggy player, one, get an Ethernet cord, or get an Ethernet cable. Like, wire yourself, please. And 2, just leave the match. Like, you do not need to feel bad for shitty internet, not unless you're actively paying for the internet. And I know a lot of people in the Oj2 community are minors, so they're not actively paying for their internet. So, I think it is very fair to say, don't feel bad if you have shitty internet. Just say you have shitty internet. It's not something to dick measure. Just say you have bad internet. Like, just say you have it. It's fine. Just leave the match. Go play something else. Go play fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I don't know. Like, go do anything else. Don't play a fighting game. Just wait until you get an Ethernet cable. Buy an Ethernet cable. Ask your parents for an Ethernet cable. It is not that bad. I got like 200 feet worth of Ethernet cable for, like, I don't know, like, what, like $30? Like, I don't know. I think that's kind of stupid. So, yeah. That's basically all I had to say. First off, if you made it to the video, thank you. And second off, I have nothing against Web. Me and Web are friends. Me and Webb hang out a lot. I just wanted to personally like respond to this video because I feel like it's a very interesting topic that has a lot of nuance. Either a lot of nuance or I'm just getting salty and I'm leaving. But at the end of the day, this is Oj2. Do whatever the fuck you want. I really don't care. I'm just saying that you shouldn't rage quit on someone who just guard spams you or plus switch choose you. But other than that, I think Webb cooked a decent breakfast. I think he cooked like a decent breakfast, bro. He didn't do anything too fancy. He cooked a decent breakfast. He may have burnt a few pieces of bacon, but other than that, he cooked pretty well. I think Webb cooked on this video. Good job, Webb. Good job on this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my nigga Webb. Link will be in the description. Link to the video will be in the description. And I will see you guys later. Bye.